on WhatSales for a while. Has it been worth it?
Oh, 100%. I really like the different features it adds. And there's a feature, I'm not 100% sure what it's called, but Rashad, when you showed us it, it was the shipping sizes. So
I guess it's also probably the best time to share that we're thinking about closing WhatSales. What's your thoughts?
I think you're bullshitting.
Brilliant. Jack, David, thank you so much for joining me. Jack, David from Thorness. Brilliant and wonderful to have you. If you wouldn't mind just telling us and everybody else watching a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get started.
Sure. Thank you, Rashad, for inviting us first. My name is David. I founded the business a little over 24 years ago with a view of actually getting out of the corporate lifestyle, really. And the 24 years I've been building the business have enabled me to do that. About 5 years ago, Jack, my son, joined the business, and we worked together with another member of the family, my other son, John Bailey, who joined us about a year ago. And in the background, Mrs. Bailey, who is often referred to as the catering manager, but actually works very hard on the Etsy site for us.
Nice, very nice. And Thorness, your category, your niche, what do you guys specialize in?
So that's a tough question to answer, Rashad, because the business, as I said, has evolved over those 20 years. And we never really had a particular plan of a market sector to concentrate on. So we've dabbled in lots of different areas, and over the subsequent years, where we believe we've become reasonably good at is actually providing gift lines for people that are difficult to buy for. So if you imagine a very difficult uncle that you have to buy a present for, but you really don't want to, that's the kind of market that we found some degree of success in. But in addition to that, we sell in many other categories as well. But home and garden and giftwear are probably our main areas. But about a year ago, we went into partnership with another company, and we also now work very closely with eBay on the refurbished product side, specializing in refurbished electronics. So there are now very clearly two areas of the Thorness business.
A very diverse business, e-commerce centric. Jack, David, you've been enterprise customers on WhatSales for a few months now. I'd love to get your unbiased, untethered feedback on how the experience has been, and is WhatSales really worth it?
Ask me the question again, Rashad.
Jack, David, you've been enterprise customers on WhatSales for a while. Has it been worth it?
Oh, 100%. I really like the different features it adds. And there's a feature, I'm not 100% sure what it's called, but Rashad, when you showed us it, it was the shipping sizes. So on FBA, which is what I mainly deal with, if you're paying too much for shipping...
the loss summary.
Yes. So
the drop down.
Yeah, the red button. So
yeah.
It will alert you each day, and you can go on and see what the alert is. And the shipping big alarm opener for us. A lot of our agents on Amazon, we're paying too high of shipping, in our opinion, and also on the data's opinion. And this gives us a real eye opener. And then this week we managed to get our biggest selling agent reduced in the shipping fees, which is a big help for us.
That's fantastic.
So to answer Rashad's question, from my point of view, I was probably the biggest skeptic within the business as to whether the services would really offer value for money for us. A lot of the things that WhatSales enables us to do, we were already doing, and I was managing, and I thought I was doing a reasonably good job. I still think that, obviously, because I'm fantastic. I do. But the reality was I was missing some points, and probably the clearest example of that is actually analysing a best-selling SKU and actually assuming that it was selling at an equal rate across all of the marketplaces. An example of that is that one of our top 5 SKUs sells extraordinarily well on the Amazon platform, reasonably well on Etsy, but underperformed on eBay. And WhatSales enabled us to identify that SKU specifically and then to probe quite closely as to why it was underperforming on eBay. And without WhatSales, I believe that we would have continued to miss that opportunity. And WhatSales has opened our eyes to looking closely at where a SKU is underperforming. And that's often an opportunity in disguise that we had missed. It's a very easy platform to navigate. It's a informative, intuitive platform. Again, I'm an old person. So learning new technology and new ways of doing things, as my son will testify, often challenges me. And if an idiot like me can use it, then anybody can use it.
It is very user friendly. You can spend a lot of time going through all of it, and you find yourself going through rabbit holes, going through different areas and finding out more information you never knew existed, which I quite like.
True. That's
another big feature for us is actually the help side of things. We're a fairly long customer, long in terms of years with Limworks, and Limworks is a great platform. But if I was to be critical of Limworks, the speed of response to help requests can be challenging at times. Absolute opposite is true of WhatSales. You put a ticket in with WhatSales, and quite often, without putting their neck on the line here, quite often you'll get a reply within minutes, and that's a fantastic part of the service that they provide. So thank you for that.
This is just so brilliant to hear. David, Jack, would you say WhatSales is now part of your day-to-day at Thorness?
Yeah, and I'm quite surprised at how quickly that has become the case. It's become, we're still relatively new customers to WhatSales. So every time I'm analyzing something or we're looking at data, then WhatSales has very quickly become the source point for us getting that data and then analyzing it and understanding the data, which is where the support can come in. You can extract information, but Rashad and his colleagues have been very helpful in actually enabling us to then examine that data. I believe as a relatively new customer that our exposure to using WhatSales will only increase. I can't see it decreasing.
That's just so fantastic. David, Jack, WhatSales and what we definitely believe in preaching is that performance drives profitability. Would you say now that you have access and exposure to the insights, the analytics, the data, it's helping you improve your profitability?
Yeah, it's a good question. One of the challenges that I think any small growing business has is actually a focus onto those SKUs and those areas of the business that are performing well, which is great. We've all got to know what our best sellers are. But in being excited about those best sellers, you can become blindsided to those that are underperforming and actually dragging profit and money out of the business. WhatSales enables us very quickly to identify those SKUs that are underperforming or even loss-making, and alerts us to do something about it. Now, that's nothing new, but actually the fact that it's presented to you in a very engaging way means that you can't ignore it. You have to do something about it. It's a bit like a very annoying neighbour that keeps banging on your door and saying, look here, you've got to do something about this. And it's difficult to ignore that banging neighbour. Sorry, that's a bad phrase. It's a difficult phrase. Sorry, I'm completely blindsided myself by my banging neighbour. What I'm really saying here is that it's difficult to ignore those SKUs that are dragging profit out of the business. And actually, whilst it's very exciting and sexy to look at those SKUs that are performing, in real terms, you can lose a lot of money if you're not concentrating on those areas of the business that are dragging profit out. And WhatSales enables us to see those not only very clearly, but also very quickly.
Yeah, that's one of our suppliers that we purchased from. We always thought we knew it had a low margin, but it alerted to us that it wasn't worth carrying anymore, which is a shame because they're quite nice, but I don't want to do something for nothing.
That's a good point.
This is just so amazing. You've made my life really easy. Normally, I'm trying to. This is just fantastic. This is brilliant. Gents, different businesses, different partners. I don't like using the word customers, but our partners like yourself. Different partners use WhatSales to help them in many different areas. Me being an ex-seller, one of my biggest bugbears was when I was selling on all of these multiple channels, I just didn't have exposure or the transparency of how much I bloody made. So I'd like to ask you, do you know how much you made today?
I know how much we made yesterday. I don't know today because today's not finished yet.
Okay, but do you know how much you've made today so far?
Yes, I do. And WhatSales enables us to do that. There's a lot of things that can influence the performance of business on a daily basis. I'm much more interested in what is the trend within the last few days. We run a lot of promotions, mainly on the eBay platform, but we're spending increasing amounts with Amazon in terms of advertising, and seeing on a daily basis what impact a promotion can have on the performance on a platform is key for our business as we move forward, particularly within the refurbished area, where if you put a promotion on, let's say, of a 10% coupon, it can have an immediate effect on certain SKUs that maybe were dormant before that become very active. But equally, if you're not monitoring that promotion may just give you revenue and no profit, which is of no use to anybody.
This is fantastic. Have you had a chance to deep dive into the refunds page and the analytics from refund? Has that helped you understand where the refunds are coming from and possibly try and remedy that?
So there are two answers to that question. The first, within our core Thorness business, we're very fortunate that we get a very, very low rate of refund.
Great.
So refunds have tended to be only ever really applicable when something is damaged in the post. And it is useful to identify an item that is frequently being damaged in the post, that we can then change how we package it. But where refunds have become much more relevant to us is in the refurb side of the business. Now, it's a nature of the product within refurb that you are going to encounter a higher degree of returns. But what WhatSales has enabled us to do is to analyze the returns that are coming through on the refurb side and whether it's worth us actually getting the product back or just writing the product off. If there's a relatively low amount of margin in the product, then the costs of bringing the product back to us outweigh the benefit in getting the product back to us. So yes, it has helped. But to answer the second part of my answer is that we've not yet been able to deep dive into that area of our business, and it does present some challenges still for us.
When you're ready, I'll be more than happy to set up a quick session and walk you through. David, Jack, from your experience of WhatSales, would you be recommending WhatSales to other e-commerce sellers?
Without hesitation, I would say yes. However, I think you need to be already. So let me rephrase that. I think you have to go into WhatSales with a very open mind, because we can all become perhaps a little arrogant about our own businesses, thinking that we know everything. And I think what WhatSales does is it forces you to look at areas of your business with new eyes. I was quite surprised by some of the things that it threw up for our business. And had I been asked questions about the business before WhatSales, I would have been confident in the answers that I could provide. WhatSales asks as many questions as it does provide solutions. So I think my recommendation is yes for anybody. However, you need to be able to look at your business objectively and with an open attitude. If you don't have those things, then I think WhatSales will just irritate you.
Bravo. I couldn't have said it better myself. If you're not open to change, you'll never move forward. That's just so brilliant. Jack, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I agree with Dad on the WhatsApp, but one of my things I like the most is how clean and transparent it is. What if you sell something for £10, the marketplace will charge you this amount, and it's black and white on the figures. That's what it is. You can't. There's no denying it, and that's one of the features I like the most, because we were confident in what the costs were, but never 100% confident. But now with WhatSales, we've got confirmation, and I trust it to warrant that that's what it costs us.
This is just so amazing. Gents, I can't thank you enough for your time and your kind words. I guess it's also probably the best time to share that we're thinking about closing WhatSales. What's your thoughts?
I think you're bullshitting.
Brilliant. I'm going to stop doing that. I'm really going to stop doing that. No,
this rocket's just taken off. Yeah. This rocket's just about to take off.
Sorry?
This rocket's just about to take off. It hasn't taken off yet.
The rocket's just about to take off. It absolutely is. We've got a stellar team. Usman Ali, you guys know, who head up all the tech and the integration side. The only way is up. We're reaching out to masses of e-commerce sellers of all sizes. I believe if you are an e-commerce business which is looking to grow, then WhatSales will absolutely add value to you. Would you second that?
Yeah, I would. My note of caution is I think that there are. I think you have to have reached a certain level of business, and I go back to what I said in my previous answer. I think it's a lot about the attitude of the people that run the business, and I think you have to. I think you have to have a degree of experience already to be able to get the most from WhatSales. So personally, I wouldn't recommend it to a brand new seller. I think it's a tool that you probably need 6 months to a year's worth of online experience. But having said that, it may well be a good partner for a new seller. Perhaps a little too expensive for a setup. And yeah, I think you need to have reached a point where you have enough SKUs generating profit for you to be able to invest that profit back into a software program such as WhatSales.
You also need to understand what the data is telling you. If you're a new seller, you're not going to know necessarily what each bit means, and it might just frighten you.
So true. Talking about expense, though, this wasn't a question that I had previously thought of, but is WhatSales worth it?
Okay, I would refer to my previous answers. It's definitely not worth it if you are arrogant and actually are not prepared to listen to advice. And the advice from WhatSales comes at you very, very quickly and very directly. If you're not prepared to make changes in your business, then you're wasting your money. If you are prepared to be open and make changes to your business, then WhatSales will pay for itself very, very quickly.
So WhatSales is worth it if you're willing to grow your business.
That's definitely true, but Rashad, for fear of repeating myself, I think it's a lot more dependent on the attitude of the people running a business, because you can sit there for maybe 6 months and being told the same thing all the time, but unless you are prepared to make a change on that information, then you will continue to waste your money. And I think I've encountered quite a lot of sellers who are frustratingly arrogant. No, arrogant's probably the wrong word. They're frustratingly blind to the information that's being shown to them. And sometimes I've certainly done it. You become so attached to a range of products that you think, I will make it work. And at the end of the day, if you're selling loads of product but making no money, then you're a fool. And you have to, and this is a benefit of working with my sons, with new eyes, they'll come in and say, they'll challenge me and say, why are we selling this product? We're not making enough money out of it. And my answer is often, well, I really like the product. Well, stop being in business then. because you can buy things you like. So it's the same approach with WhatsApp. I think you have to be prepared to act on the information that is being provided to you. So I think your question was, would I recommend it? And I've taken a long answer. Without hesitation, I would recommend it. Is it value for money? Without hesitation, it's absolute value for money.
You've just made all of our efforts worthwhile by saying that, and I can't thank you enough.
That comes back at you, mate.
Thank you. It's a couple of years ago. I mean, I was relatively a good seller. I had 4 locations: Watford, Pennsylvania, Gdansk, Hong Kong, South Africa, Dubai. I was selling in the mobile accessory space and selling all on all of the marketplaces, and I think I was doing a pretty good job. But the thing that frustrated me with the most was, regardless of how many bums on seats I put, regardless of however many agencies I got, I wasn't getting the transparency into, am I going up? Am I climbing upwards? Am I making a profit? Am I building a profitable business? And to answer all of those questions, when I couldn't find a solution, I don't know, maybe it was like a natural entrepreneurial streak in me. I was like, to hell with it. I called my friends up, who are my partners, Usman and Ali, and like, let's start building something, because I can't be the only one. I can't be the only one who is finding this frustrating. And you've had a testament today that I was willing to change for my business, and that's what led me for WhatSales. And now we're seeing this across all of our customers. The people that are using WhatSales are getting benefit from it. And this has just been brilliant. Jack, David, I can't thank you enough for your time. Just on a closing note, any words of wisdom, any recommendation for a growing e-commerce business that you'd like to share to the audience?
Yeah, surround yourself with younger people. That's true. I'm not the future for Thorness. My boys are the future. They look at things with young eyes. Be prepared to accept that you are old and that you have to listen to new ideas.
Fresh blood.
New eyes.
Excellent. And
Jack should add his comment.
Keep the bank manager fed.
My kids are the same. So I sympathize completely. You touched on something, my very last question, I promise. You touched earlier on Linworks. Linworks, fantastic tool for inventory and order management. How has your experience been with the integration between Linworks and WhatSales and the to and fro of SKUs and COGS and all of that palaver?
Pretty seamless. Where we've encountered challenges have mainly been that the data within Linworks has not been as accurate as perhaps it could be. But that's down to us. If you put idiot information in, then you get idiot information out. We don't use Linworks perhaps as effectively or as efficiently as we possibly could. So where there have been challenges with the integration, they've been mainly caused by ourselves. From a WhatSales point of view and Thorness, no issues at all. It's been seamless.
David, Jack, thank you so much for being part of the WhatSales family.